In my previous life, as the fake daughter, I engaged in fierce competition with the real daughter, and we both ended up badly hurt. It wasn't until after my death that I realized it was all my brother's plot. He possessed the family fortune, and as the only son, he enjoyed all the power and wealth. Watching all this, I was unwilling and was reborn. In this life, I kicked away the brother who instigated us and quickly grabbed the hand of my real sister. 1. Absolutely. Here's the English translation for your text. Dad, Mom, my bed is so big. Can my sister and I sleep together tonight? On the day we brought the real daughter home, my brother Rudy whispered to me, now that she's back, if you don't fight with her, the one who gets kicked out will be you, the adopted daughter. In my previous life, I listened to his instigation, and the first time I saw Harper, I was filled with hostility. But this life is different. My eyes rolled, and I said loudly in front of everyone, Brother, what are you talking about? Why would I fight with my sister? Rudy's face immediately changed. He grabbed the hem of my shirt. Keep your voice down. I turned to my parents who were crying and hugging Harper. Dad, Mom, will you kick me out? My parents heard my words and wiped away their tears. They looked at me, then at Harper, and neither of them spoke, their faces gradually turning embarrassed. My heart skipped a beat. Oh no, I overestimated their gratitude for raising me for these years. After all, I'm not their biological child. What if they really kicked me out? No. Harper, who had been quiet and silent since entering the door, suddenly grabbed my hand. Mom and Dad, on the way back, didn't you ask me what I wanted? I want my sister to stay in this family. I was shocked, then overjoyed. After all, in my previous life, under my hostile gaze, Harper didn't say anything to this question. In the end, it was Rudy who pleaded for me to stay in this family. But it couldn't stop my parents from gradually becoming cold and disgusted with me. Unexpectedly, I rushed over and hugged Harper. Glancing at Rudy, whose face was darker than the bottom of a pot, I was overjoyed. I'm reborn. 2. In my previous life, Harper and I played out the classic real and fake daughter scenario. With Rudy's help, I made those spoiled brats laugh at Harper, organized people to bully Harper and her foster parents, and poured ink all over the beautiful clothes my parents bought for her. When I found out that the boy I had a crush on for 3 years had started pursuing Harper, I was furious. I started spreading rumors about her, using all kinds of lotus flower tactics to portray Harper as a vicious, evil woman. In the end, Harper and I started fighting over the family fortune, and we fought to the death. Under Rudy's guidance, I deliberately fed her a large piece of peanut butter bread, forcing her to have a severe allergic reaction and die. And she was not to be outdone. She bribed my driver and caused me to have a car accident on the road, and I was killed. But after I died, I saw Rudy inherit the family fortune alone and become a pampered only son, and I was dumbfounded, especially when he told his good friend, I just want to make those 2 women fight like dogs and cats, so I can reap the benefits. Haha. It turned out that the result of female competition was to make men the beneficiaries. So, I turned my head and decided to be reborn. In this life, I'm going to join forces with Harper to reclaim what we deserve. Back to the present, my parents were discussing where Harper would stay tonight. Your room hasn't been cleaned up yet, so you might have to be a little uncomfortable tonight. Let Leah Mom set up a bed for you in the study. Do you think that's okay? They looked at Harper apologetically. Her hands were twisting her clothes nervously, obviously a bit nervous about being here for the first time. So I pulled her over to me and said, Dad, Mom, my bed is so big. Can Harper and I sleep together tonight? No one spoke for a while, but Rudy unfortunately was the first to speak. Iris, you're really something. Harper is your parents' biological daughter, and half of your bed is piled with junk and clothes. How can she live there? Don't you worry about her being disgusted. My parents also realized it and helped awkwardly. Harper, you see, you can choose where you want to live. Now, everyone's eyes were focused on Harper. I cursed Rudy 1,000 times in my heart. 3. But to my surprise, the next second, Harper squeezed my hand back. She whispered, If my sister doesn't mind, I want a room with my sister. Oh my God, how could I possibly be against that? I couldn't have asked for anything more. I grabbed Harper's hand and nodded like a chicken pecking rice. You wait. I'll go clean up the room right now. Rudy looked at me with a mixture of surprise and strangeness. After all, ever since my parents announced a few months ago that they were bringing their biological daughter home, Rudy had been brainwashing me. The wealthy families care most about bloodlines. When the time comes, you, the fake daughter, will be laughed at everywhere, and your parents will dislike you. I don't think my real sister is any good either. Why didn't she come back earlier? She had to come back just before your college entrance exam. Isn't this just thinking that her grades are better than yours, and she's ready to slap you in the face? He never understood why, even though I had agreed to everything so well at that time, why I was so close to this newly arrived sister now. I snuck upstairs and started cleaning the room. Brother, you're good at playing tricks on the surface, but doing something else behind the scenes, but I'm good at it too. The next day, I got up at 9 and went downstairs for breakfast. Standing at the corner, I heard my parents and brother talking first. First, my father sighed. Harper's grades are consistently in the top 10 in her original grade, and she is guaranteed to get into a top 985 university. That's much better than Iris. Iris, that's me. Yes, she's well-behaved and obedient, and her foster parents seem to have good manners. If you ask me, a foster daughter is after all a foster daughter, not very presentable. Although Harper insists on keeping her, I think in the future, our family's business will still be. 4. Rudy picked up where his mother left off. Mom, don't worry, Iris is very naive now. As long as we don't let her get involved in the family business, raising her for a lifetime should be no problem. The three of them were in high spirits and getting along well. Only I was hiding in the corner. Even though I've been reborn, I couldn't hide the bitterness that welled up in my heart when I heard those words. In my memory, my parents clearly loved me very much when I was young. I was clearly their little princess, a treasure they cherished in the palm of their hands. But as soon as their biological daughter came back, I became something that couldn't be put on the table. They were happily discussing plans for how to decorate the house to welcome Harper home. I lost my appetite for breakfast and turned around to go upstairs. But Harper's voice suddenly entered my ears. Dad, Mom, that's not how it is. I couldn't help but stop. You have a life-giving grace to me, but you also have a nurturing grace to Iris. If you neglect your adopted daughter as soon as you have a biological daughter, it will not sound good if it spreads outside. Others will say that our family is mean and ungrateful and cannot tolerate others. Secondly, although Iris may not be as strong as me in the college entrance exam, she is also a daughter who has been raised by the family with a lot of time and money since she was young, and her overall comprehensive ability is definitely much better than mine. If our whole family works together and Iris and I cooperate well, we may be able to make greater breakthroughs in our family business. 5. I was stunned. Everyone at the table was stunned. In my previous life, although Harper excelled in her studies, she was introverted and not good at expressing herself. How could she, who was always so quiet, say such things? The atmosphere stagnated for a while, and then my father clapped his hands and said, Good, good. I didn't expect our Harper to have such deep insight. Rudy also gritted his teeth and echoed, My sister is so smart. And I stood in the dim corner, my eyes a little wet. I listened to Harper finish her breakfast, then cleaned up the dishes and walked towards the stairs where I was. It's over, I'm going to be discovered. I stiffened and didn't dare to move, but Harper didn't embarrass me. She just patted me on the shoulder and held a boiled egg and a piece of corn in her hand. Are you hungry? I nodded and sniffed. She helped me peel the boiled egg, and I consciously reached out to help her catch the peeled eggshells. You're my sister, and I'll protect you, she said suddenly while peeling. I looked at Harper's slightly red earlobes. So touched. But I can't look down, or my tears will fall. 6. Next Saturday, my parents are planning a party to announce Harper's identity to everyone and officially welcome her home. It's clear that everyone is putting a lot of effort into this party. My parents took Harper to a private tailor to have a dress made and took her to various luxury brand counters to pick out jewelry. It's so strange. When I said I wanted those things before, they would criticize me for being vain. But now, Harper easily gets everything I want. But I'm not jealous at all, because Harper would secretly share half of everything good she got with me. Even the dress. She begged my parents to order one according to my size. The only thing I couldn't stand was one thing. That is, every time my parents took Harper out to spend money, Rudy would follow behind. And he was also very close to Harper, and he said a lot to her. I can imagine that he's either trying to sow discord or spread rumors. Until that night, when Harper let Rudy put his arm around her shoulder, and they walked upstairs together, I finally couldn't take it anymore. Rudy said to Harper as he walked, "Iris has always been arrogant and domineering, and she's probably not easy to deal with. You have to be careful. She's at a disadvantage now, and she will definitely do everything she can to compete with you for your parents' love. If you're bullied, just come to me." What, speaking so loudly, as if he was afraid I couldn't hear. I stood on the second floor and shouted angrily, "Rudy, you're not allowed to talk to her." I ran downstairs and pulled Rudy away from Harper. He immediately pouted, looking aggrieved. Why? Why can't I talk to my new sister? Are you jealous of Harper? Jealous that she's gotten so many new clothes and jewelry lately, and your parents take her everywhere they go but not you? I pushed him away. I'm jealous? Isn't it you who's been whispering in my sister's ear every day, trying to make her hate me? 7. Absolutely. Here's the English translation for your text. But as if he hadn't heard my argument, Rudy raised his voice and said to himself, Iris, you're not Mom's biological daughter anyway. And now you want to compete with Harper for everything. To be fair, what has this family lacked because of you? The next second, he threw the drink in his hand hard onto Harper's new dress. Immediately, Rudy shouted, Iris, this is Harper's custom-made dress. Why are you pouring drinks on it? With that commotion, my father and mother immediately poked their heads out of the study on the second floor. I understood. Rudy was shouting so loudly. He had been trying to get their attention all along. The first to rush down was my father. He looked at the dirty dress, then at the drink cup on the ground. His face immediately darkened. What are you doing? Huh? Are you bullying your sister? My father's stern voice rang out above my head. I didn't. I protested loudly. You're still saying no. Rudy shouted from the side. Harper told me, you can't stand her. You took all her jewelry and bags. And now that you see me being nice to Harper, you're naturally jealous. My mother rushed to the scene and, after listening to her son's complaint, raised her hand to slap me. I didn't have time to continue defending myself, but I unconsciously closed my eyes in fear. However, I waited for a long time, and that slap still didn't land on my face. I opened my eyes. It was Harper. She grabbed my mother's arm and stopped her movement. The drink Harper poured it on my skirt. She lowered her eyes and spoke softly. I was anxious. Did she really believe Rudy's words? But it was my brother who grabbed Harper's hand and forced her to pour it. In this way, you can frame me and say that Harper is jealous of me. 8. Everyone present fell silent. Mom lowered her hand and Dad looked at Harper. They asked Harper to tell the truth. Mom even hugged her and comforted her softly. It's okay. You're Mom's biological daughter. Just feel free to say it. Mom will definitely protect you. But Harper calmly broke free from her embrace and ignored Rudy, who was nervously winking at her from the side. She looked at me fixedly and explained. All of this was directed and acted by Rudy. He insisted that my sister was jealous of me, and he grabbed my sister's hand and made her pour the drink on my clothes. The atmosphere at the scene suddenly became a little awkward. Rudy gritted his teeth and whispered, We didn't agree. Agree on what? Harper heard him and repeated loudly. Rudy didn't dare to say anything. I snickered on the side. I can imagine that Rudy must have communicated a lot of conspiracies with Harper these days. And Harper must have agreed on the surface, and then waited until the conflict escalated before standing up to reveal the truth. In this way, Rudy could completely fall flat on his face. 9. In the room, I held Harper's hand and buried my head in her chest. Sis, you're so smart. Harper smiled shyly, her ears turning a suspicious shade of pink. Downstairs, we could still hear our parents criticizing Rudy. Look at you. You do nothing all day long. You just know how to waste money. Do you know how much this dress cost? Although our family is rich, We can't let you squander it like this. After a while of arguing, everything gradually calmed down. I sighed softly. If this had happened to me, I might have been kicked out of the house. It's just that Rudy is their biological son. So naturally, my parents could cover up for him and be partial to him. Feeling a little uneasy, I looked up at Harper and asked, "Sis, why are you willing to be so nice to me? Aren't you afraid that I'll hurt you like Rudy said?" She shook her head with a smile and put a finger to her lips. "Don't ask why. I just know you'll be good to me. I knew it from the first time I saw you, so I won't hurt you either." Before officially announcing Harper's identity, our family went to visit Harper's foster parents. In my previous life, there was this plot too, but at that time, I was so envious and jealous of everything good Harper got that I couldn't wait to find trouble with her at every opportunity. At Rudy's instigation and introduction, I contacted a group of gangsters and had them beat up Harper's foster parents. Those foster parents, although they looked decent, were actually totally snobbish. Although Harper's family didn't know who had beaten them, they still gave them a certain amount of medical expenses for Harper's sake. But they were greedy and made a big scene at Harper's identity announcement party, causing Harper to gain a shameful reputation among the rich kids. This time, neither Harper nor I listened to Rudy, so this visit should have gone smoothly. But I was wrong. 10. Our family arrived at Harper's foster parents' apartment building. As soon as we entered, the old couple rushed towards me. "Miss, please forgive us. We are law-abiding citizens. We don't want to cause any trouble for Harper." Something was wrong, and my father immediately frowned and looked at me. "Iris, what's going on?" Harper's foster mother started crying. "This morning, a group of thugs broke into our house and said they were acting on Miss Iris's orders, that they wanted to teach us a lesson and then make us trouble Harper. But we are honest people. How could we do such a thing?" I smiled. How could they not do such a thing? I saw a black gold savings card in Harper's foster father's pocket, the same one I had seen in Rudy's pocket, and instantly understood everything. Money really can make the world go round. Harper tried to help her injured foster parents up, but for some reason, the old couple seemed glued to the ground and wouldn't get up. Rudy immediately took out his phone and dialed 110. "Our family is not a bunch of bullies. We will never let Uncle and Aunt suffer such injustice." He looked at me with a smug look. I wanted to punch him in the face, but I knew that I was at a disadvantage in every way right now, so I could only shut up and watch. Our family took Harper's foster parents to the hospital to get checked out, and then made a statement. The police checked the local surveillance footage, and the next day caught the leader of the gang, a man with a scar on his face and a dragon tattoo. As soon as he saw me, he shouted, Sister, you told us it would be fine." In the police station, everyone's eyes were on me. I saw the police look back at the handcuffs on the table. My parents also looked at me warily. I widened my eyes. "But I've never seen you before." Harper seemed to have not expected this scene either, and hurriedly ordered, "You all said it was Iris who did it. Do you have any evidence?" Yes. The scarred man trembled and took out his phone, clicking on a phone recording. The female voice in it was exactly the same as mine. "You go find Harper's little bitch's foster parents for me, and then beat them up for me. As long as they don't die, beat them to death. After you're done, you'll naturally get your reward." Both Harper and I were dumbfounded. It seems that no matter what, this dirty water was going to be splashed on me today. My father was furious. "Iris, we've raised you for so long, and I never thought you would be so vicious." My mother also chimed in. "Yes. Officer, please take her away quickly." Rudy even pushed me hard from behind, pushing me in front of the police. But Harper grabbed my arm. "No. 11. I didn't expect Harper to kneel down in front of my parents. She rolled up her sleeves in front of everyone. On them, there were clearly scars from healing, hideous and frightening. Her tears streamed down her face. "I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. It was me who asked my sister to arrange it. My foster parents, since they knew I was your biological daughter, wanted me to ask the family for a lot of money, and if I didn't give them money, they would beat me. But I didn't want to disturb Mom and Dad, and I didn't have any money, so I could only be beaten. I really had no choice, So I asked Iris if she could help me with this. I asked her to help me find someone to teach them a lesson, and they could only be quiet. Mom exclaimed. Before, I thought they were such polite couples. I never thought they would beat my daughter so badly. Dad quickly picked Harper up from the ground and gave me a very complicated look. Why didn't you say so earlier? Harper nestled in her father's arms and sobbed. I'm sorry, Dad. I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. But now, seeing that my sister is about to be arrested, I have to say it. Please don't drive my sister away. For a moment, the atmosphere became awkward. Father glared at Rudy, who had been the most eager to call the police, and then apologized to the police with a smile. Well, let's settle this privately. After leaving the police station, my father scolded Harper for the first time. Now that you're back, why can't you tell your family about anything? You have to make a big fuss about it. You're a kid too, and you don't know what you're doing, so you just mess things up. Harper wiped her tears and nose with a tissue pitifully, and her mother obviously felt sorry for her and quickly defended her. Oh, Harper is just new here, and she may be a little shy and unwilling to open up. It's normal, don't make things difficult for her. In the end, the matter was settled privately with money. It is said that they even specially found a few thugs to threaten Harper's foster parents, telling them to take the money and stop interfering in Harper's life at home. Of course, they could only nod in agreement. And that night, I cornered Rudy for the first time. 12. You think I don't know it was you? I advise you to behave yourself. I stared at him, my eyes icy. Rudy laughed a loud, malicious laugh. You know, after you and Harper both go to college, our parents will arrange for us to intern at the company together and select a suitable heir from among us. Instead of threatening me, you should be more concerned about how, as a foster daughter, you can do your best to stay in the family before that day comes. The party to announce Harper's identity began. Among the guests, in addition to some wealthy young people, there were also several entertainment reporters who specialized in gossip news. In my previous life, it was at this party that Harper's foster parents caused a scene, and Morgan, with whom I had been engaged since childhood, and whom I had secretly admired for 3 years, not only stepped forward to help Harper, who had been pushed down, but also volunteered to speak up for her. Later, Morgan fell in love with the introverted and excellent Harper and pursued her crazily. After we went to college, the parents of both families discussed it and simply changed the betrothal. After all, it was still a marriage between the two families, and it was the best of both worlds. Only I hid in the corner, jealous and sad, tearing at the hem of my skirt. It was after that incident that Rudy suddenly told me that Harper was severely allergic to peanuts. So, on the day Harper passed the entrance exam to a top university, and our family held a celebration party for her, I dragged her into the bathroom and forced a large piece of peanut butter bread into her mouth. At that moment, I realized that Rudy was a fence-sitter, swaying between me and Harper. In my previous life, Harper was having difficulty breathing due to the allergy, and at the same time, she said to me viciously, "You think I'm a pushover for you to manipulate? Even if I die, brother Rudy will avenge me." I didn't realize what she meant until I was on my way back from the hospital, and I saw the car I was in uncontrollably crashing into a truck. I shook my head, trying to erase that unpleasant memory from my mind. But as I looked up, I saw Harper, dressed in a beautiful white dress, falling into Morgan's arms. 13. Although Harper has always been very kind to me, seeing her get her foot stepped on by a high heel, and then being gently helped aside by Morgan, it's impossible to say that I wasn't jealous or sad. After all, I've been chasing Morgan for 3 whole years, and he hasn't even looked back at me once. The water I handed him after his basketball game was thrown aside by him, and the midnight snacks I prepared for him were casually given to his pursuers. That so-called arranged marriage was even ridiculed by him. Everyone laughed at me for being a silly white lotus who couldn't read the atmosphere. But no one knows that my affection is also precious. It hurts when my sincerity is trampled on. Harper and Morgan were sitting on a bench, and it seemed like they were chatting happily. I watched as relatives and friends from Morgan's family and Harper's family intentionally or unintentionally glanced over. They look so good together. I heard that Harper's biological daughter found by her family is in the top class at school, and she's in the same class as Morgan. Maybe they can get into the same university. I turned my head away and stuffed my mouth with cake and tea, but I couldn't stop the tears from falling. Love can't be forced. Harper has been good enough to me, and if they can really be together, I should really bless them. Halfway through my binge eating, someone suddenly came up and grabbed my arm. I turned around and it was Harper. A piece of cake got stuck in my throat. I was startled and I choked. She slowly patted my back and fed me some water. "Are you sad?" she asked me with a smile. I blushed and wouldn't speak. Until I felt better, she gestured for me to be quiet and pulled me behind a rockery. Behind the rockery, we could hear Morgan and Rudy talking. 14. You have no idea, just a few words. And I've completely wrapped your family's biological daughter, Harper, around my finger. Ha ha ha. Women are so easy to fool. That's right. As soon as they meet a man, they turn into idiots. I saw Iris looking so aggrieved just now, stuffing her mouth with food, like a pig. Still, my brother Rudy is smart. He knows how to manipulate people. I overheard their conversation and widened my eyes, unable to believe what I was hearing. Iris just knows how to follow me around all day. It's so annoying. Looking at her like that, I feel like vomiting. She's ugly and doesn't do as well in school as me. Why does she think I would like her? The sunny and gentle Morgan in front of others was now so vicious when he talked about me. Harper saw me blinking, about to cry, and quickly pulled me to a distant lawn. Did you hear that? They're all trying to drive us apart. Although I seemed to have a good relationship with Morgan just now, in fact, he was the one who approached me first, and I couldn't avoid him. I nodded and whispered, "I'm sorry, sister." I even felt guilty for the little bit of jealousy I had just felt. You heard all that, so don't crush on Morgan anymore. My head felt like it had been hit by something, and I suddenly realized, Harper, you've only been here for a few weeks, and you haven't even finished transferring schools, and you've never even seen Morgan. How do you know I have a crush on him? It turned out that Harper, like me, was reborn. The two of us looked at each other with wide eyes. I said, in my previous life, I watched Rudy reap the benefits, and only then did I realize that he was behind it all. Harper murmured, "Me too." Harper said, "Actually, I don't know why I hated you so much. It's just that Rudy kept telling me that you were jealous of me, that you were always harming me, so I had to fight back." I murmured, "But Rudy clearly told me that when you came, I would be bullied by you and kicked out of this house." Harper and I looked at each other for 3 seconds, then hugged each other tightly. 15. The surrounding relatives and friends, including Rudy and Morgan, were all stunned by this scene. Reporters clicked away with their cameras, ready to write a report about the deep sisterhood of the wealthy family. Rudy was furious and whispered viciously in Morgan's ear, "Why isn't that little bitch Iris angry? Why isn't she angry?" No one knew that when Harper and I were hugging, I whispered in her ear, "Sister, let's take everything that belongs to Rudy, okay? You want me to be angry, so I'll be angry? Please. The world doesn't revolve around you wealthy young masters." The college entrance exam results came out, and with Harper's day and night tutoring, I finally reached the score line for a 211 university. But our Iris is good at English, can play tennis, and is also the captain of the school cheerleading team. It should also be a big advantage to take the IELTS and apply to a foreign school. Harper looked at me with a smile. As for Rudy and her, they both got the expected high scores and were ready to enroll in a 985 university. During the summer vacation, Rudy and Harper got their admission notices and went out to play separately. Only I was at home and the IELTS tutoring class, busier than during my senior year. Who told you that my family is wealthy and has extremely high requirements for their children's education? The 211 university that I could apply for with my college entrance exam score was not good enough in the upper class. I could only choose to study abroad. However, this score also made my family see the effort and progress I had made. After all, at first, I was just a piece of mud that couldn't even pass a simple exam. Now, although they don't really treat me as family, they are willing to continue cultivating me as a resource because of Harper's words. I was satisfied with that, and I did not disappoint them. With the help of my family's finances, I applied to a top 50 university in the QS rankings. 4 years later, I returned to China and landed. Harper and Rudy graduated from university, and we started internships at the family company at the same time. The war for power and status officially began. 16. Rudy probably never thought that Harper and I would reject the opportunity for a family internship. At the family dinner, Harper put the investment report of our round financing of $1 million for her and my project on the table. Everyone's eyes widened. Father asked, "What are you doing?" Harper and I smiled at each other. To be precise, it's not you. It's you. I organized the project, and the investment was made through the connections of my classmates when Iris was studying business in the UK. Now the company is on the 8th floor of the office building opposite the group. My sister and I have been very busy recently, so let Rudy take charge of the internship at home. Rudy didn't believe it. Just you guys. How can you achieve such a feat without relying on your family, and no one knows about it? We did rely on it. I pouted. I was able to study abroad, and my sister was able to find business partners, all thanks to the hard work and connections of mom and dad all these years. On the other hand, while you were in college, also used the excuse of starting a business and asked mom and dad for a lot of money, right? What about your project? I asked Rudy. Rudy was speechless. In college, he met the wrong people and made a group of hupungoyo, fox friends, meaning bad friends. Those people saw that he was a rich second generation, and they usually just flattered him and flattered him. When it came to actually getting things done, none of them were useful. Midway through, he was instigated by another second-generation rich kid, and he dragged Morgan to speculate in virtual currency, resulting in losing everything and almost ending up in the police station. Over the years I was abroad, Harper once called me and said, "Dad has started to secretly want Rudy to get involved in some of the company's business." He also said that after all, daughters are outsiders, and he feels more at ease handing over the family business to his son. But I'm not reconciled. I'm not reconciled to being a silly young lady who is carefree all my life. I also want to fight for Rudy's power and position. So, Harper and I decided to start our own business and prove ourselves with our achievements. In the end, only Rudy went to work as an intern at the family company. Unfortunately, before he even entered the company, the fact that he was the company's young master had already been secretly spread by Harper and me. 17. This way, what else does he have to train for? His colleagues were all trying to curry favor with him, and his superiors couldn't wait to give him the green light all the way. When my father found out about this, although he was furious, there was nothing he could do. Later, he simply promoted Rudy directly to the leadership level. He let him listen in on important meetings of the company's senior management and make some meeting minutes. But he had little understanding of the company's grassroots and industry ecology, and he didn't know any of the professional terms that everyone was talking about at the meeting. Whenever my father asked him for decisions and suggestions, he always stammered and couldn't say anything. Over time, my father, who had been trying to force growth without success, had to turn his attention to Harper's and my entrepreneurial project. At that time, our project had been alive for 2 years, and we were considering expanding. When my father came to visit our company, there was an undeniable hint of admiration on his face. He patted me on the shoulder and said, "I didn't expect." I continued, "Didn't expect what?" My father smiled awkwardly and said nothing, but I knew what he was thinking. He didn't expect that I, as a foster daughter, could survive in such a feudal family and still achieve such remarkable results. He didn't expect that Harper and I, both daughters, each with our own shortcomings, would not have been content to be marriage tools who never left the house, but instead entered the workplace like men and made a career for ourselves. He didn't expect that one day, he would actually decide to hand over the family property to a marriage tool and an outsider. 18. When I turned 25, my parents began to arrange marriages for us. By then, Rudy had already gone through several rounds of blind dates. However, the blind date partners were nothing more than the daughters of various conglomerates, each with their own resources and influence. When it came to Harper and me, our parents' minds changed. In the past few years of work, I haven't had many thoughts about love. I just wanted my marriage to maximize my career benefits. But I didn't expect that instead of choosing young masters from similar backgrounds for us, they found some eligible young men from within the company who were of ordinary origin but had outstanding work abilities. My mother quietly told Harper and me, "Your father wants you to find someone who can marry into the family." Yes, if the son-in-law marries into the family, the daughter can always be a part of the family, and it would be more natural to take over the family business. Moreover, it would be a good way to consolidate the policy if the candidates were talents from our own company. On the day of my engagement, the company's board of directors issued a red document. It clearly defined the equity distribution for the three of us, in which Harper and I combined accounted for 54% of the entire company. In other words, Harper and I had clearly become the legitimate successors of the family group. My father also told us that after taking over the group, we could directly transfer our two startup companies under the group's name and use family resources to develop together. It was quite an endorsement of our careers. That day, I was toasting and chatting with my new husband, while Rudy sat on the side, his face dark. I drank too much and went to the ladies' room halfway through. But as soon as I pushed open the door of the cubicle, a big hand reached out and pulled me in. "Rudy, are you a hooligan?" I glared at the man in front of me, both angry and amused. Even though he was currently choking my neck and pressing me hard against the wall, I was almost suffocating. "If I wanted to, I could kill you here right now," he said through gritted teeth, his eyes bloodshot. 19. "Oh, if you don't mind spending the rest of your life in jail, then go ahead and try." I shrugged indifferently. He leaned in closer, but Rudy panicked. "I just don't understand. I really don't understand. Why can't you just stay home quietly, be carefree for the rest of your life, and don't come and fight me for power? Isn't that good? You and Harper, why are you always so unsatisfied? You keep trying to take things away from me." "Who said this is yours?" I interrupted him. "Family property. Every child has an equal opportunity to compete, even if I'm an adopted daughter. Besides, if you think it's great to spend your life like a parasite, why don't you just do it? Why do you have to come and compete with us?" Rudy was stunned by my question. Just then, someone kicked the door wildly from outside. "Iris, are you in there?" It was Harper's voice. "Rudy, I know you're in there too. If you don't come out, I'll call the police. Today is Iris's engagement party. I warn you, Rudy, don't embarrass Mom and Dad too much." Rudy tightened his grip on my neck. "How did she know you were here?" he asked me viciously. I pointed to my smartwatch and shrugged impatiently. "From the very beginning when you threatened me, I sent an emergency call with my watch. The information will be sent directly to Harper's phone. It's the 21st century, Big Brother, keep up." The second he let go of me, Harper kicked the door open with a flying kick. I was hit by the door panel, but I still managed to walk out of the cubicle. He clearly let me go, "So you don't have to be so violent." I rubbed my sore forehead. Harper took my hand. "I'm just worried about you." Rudy was behind us, slammed hard by the door panel, and howled in pain. Harper and I looked at each other and smiled, ignoring the miserable man behind us, and walked out together.